A mom got stuck behind this slow vehicle, but a sign in the window made her question her behavior. Professional counselor and mom Haley was on her way to work in late December 2017. But it wasn't a speedy journey. Instead, she got stuck behind a slow-moving car with a sign, and it had a message that made her think twice. Haley was the woman behind Thoughts, Dots, and Tots, an online blog where her goal was to help others navigate life's difficulties. She wrote, "To solve their problems, she relied on her personal experience as well as her education and work. For instance, she often shared tips for a successful marriage. And Haley had a loving union with her husband, an emergency room nurse, and her college sweetheart. The pair also had a son who she described as a sweet boy who's exhausting but an amazing blessing." Haley's earned her master's degree in social work too, which allowed her to write about mental health related topics. She explained that her training allowed her to focus on the big picture and the systems and individuals involved instead of being primarily focused on individuals. That very outlook would come in handy when Haley drove to work on December 22, 2017. As any commuter knows, the drive to the office tends to run long when it begins or ends during rush hour, and slow-moving traffic can be frustrating to say the least. But for Haley, it was a particular car in front of her that was threatening to delay her journey from work to home. She knew this because a message was written in the blue SUV's back window right next to the spare tire. "As I was pulling into work, I was following this car," Haley wrote in a Facebook post. "The sign in the back window says, 'Learning stick, sorry for any delay.' Anyone who's learned the same skill knows how it often means stalling the engine a few times, which of course slows the entire trip." Upon reading the sign, Haley said that she instantly felt empathetic toward the driver ahead of her. "Knowing this information, I was very patient with their slow shifting, and honestly they were doing pretty well for still learning," she went on. But that sense of understanding came with a wave of self-reflection for Haley. Then I asked myself a tough question. Would I have been just as patient if the sign hadn't been there? The counselor wrote. She proceeded to answer her own question. "I can almost definitely say no," Haley wrote next. And with that came the realization that people could be quite unsympathetic when they were unaware of what difficulties a person faced. We don't know what someone's going through. We don't wear signs that illustrate our personal struggles. You don't see signs taped to people's shirts that say "going through a divorce" or "lost a child" or "feeling depressed" or "diagnosed with cancer," Haley wrote. But the mom of one decided then that we shouldn't have to qualify for each other's compassionate treatment. Instead, it should be something we do without a sign taped to the back of a slow-moving car or any other indicator that something extraordinary was happening. If we could read visually what those around us are going through, we would definitely be nicer. But we shouldn't have to see signs and have reasons to treat strangers with kindness, Haley wrote. Instead, the blogger concluded this advice. We should do it anyway, whether we know what's going on or not, whether they deserve it or not. Let's give everyone an extra dose of patience, kindness, and love, Haley wrote. With that, Haley shared her post via Facebook, and her message was apparently heard loud and clear by those who saw it. In fact, the 4-paragraph story garnered more than 193,000 reactions, 210,000 shares, and 8,400 comments. Some readers offered tips to make driving a less stressful experience for everyone. Bonnie J. Dorr said, "When I'm following a slow driver and I know I need to ratchet down my attitude, I picture the driver with a goldfish bowl on the passenger seat. Aggressive driving could presumably force faster speeds and life-threatening sloshing of water." Then there was Tanya Nicole Townsend, a driving instructor who used Haley's post to share her own message about roadway empathy. "For some of my students, it may be the first time in the driver's seat, so please be patient if you see a student driver car. In our fast-paced lives, we've forgotten to breathe and be considerate," she wrote. But most commented to agree with Haley's point of view, especially after being reflected on their own signs they would have to hang. Cheryl Sissel wrote that she would need a tractor trailer, with the trailer being all windows for all of hers. Even with her own baggage, though, Sissel knew to remain grounded and help others, just as Haley suggested. "I may have a lot to deal with, but I'm well aware of the fact that there are many people or families that are dealing with even more," she wrote. And that thought gave Sissel all the pause she needed to rise above and realize how lucky she was for her minor struggles. She wrote, "I know to take a step back and count my blessings and be thankful for what I do have."